Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. And we'll start with a roll call.
Salasa, absent. Char, Eberhard, Silva, Nakamoto, Steelquist, Mitchell, Lee, Chan,
Here.
online, Kawano, Peters, absent, and Witham. Chair Yefcorn.
Awesome, thank you very much. Okay, and then first up we have Honolulu Fire Department. Would they happen to be online? Okay, seeing no one from the fire department here, next up we have Honolulu Police Department. I believe we are lucky enough to have our police major here as well. Oh, just lieutenant. Okay, thank you.
Just got promoted.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. My name is Sergeant Lee. This is Lieutenant Matsumura and Sergeant Skia. They're from night ops and I'm from day ops. I'm gonna read the stats for July 2025. For the District 1 Neighborhood Board meeting. Motor vehicle theft. This month there's 9. The previous was 9. Burglary. This month was 6. The previous was 10. Theft, this month is 44, previous was 28. UMV 7, last month was 14. Assault 11, previous was 4. Sex assault 3 this month, 0 last month. Graffiti 0, and previous was 0. Drugs 4, previous 0. Motor vehicle collisions 79. Previous was 83. Total calls for service was 2,126, and the previous was 2,069. And yeah, most of the beats of these occurred in 161, 163, 164, 169, and 174. But yeah, that's what we got for our stats. You guys have any questions?
All right, are there any questions? Thank you very much, Sergeant. Are there any questions from the board? Okay, starting with Richard.
Sergeant, say somebody suspected drug activity in their neighborhood. Would it be safer for that person to anonymously report that to you folks? Because they'd be concerned about retaliation?
In the past, from my experience, yeah, you can do it that way. Normally, most investigators will try and contact the anonymous person on the side, and we would need it would help to get a written statement because that would be a probable cause for us going down to the scene. Yeah, we're not just picking on these guys for no reason. So, yeah, you can do it anonymously, and then we'll call you guys from the back room and locate you guys on the side later on. Yeah.
So say this person was to see something that was suspicious, like somebody handing something to somebody. And then we call you, of course, that activity is power ready. Is there still, that person would write a statement or something of what they saw?
Yeah, but if there's, I mean, we can get a statement, but I mean, if you didn't see a violation, then there's really nothing we can do.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. You guys want to enter that? LT or anything?
Lieutenant Matsumura, also District 1.
If you could talk into the mic, please. Thank you very much, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Matsumura from District 1, also on night ops. So another avenue that you could use to report that is go to our website, honolulupd.org, and then there are contact information. And I believe you can do it online now with an online form. You can submit tips and information directly to our Narco Vice Division. And then if you want to remain anonymous, you can at that time. Obviously, the more information you give, the more helpful it is to us and the investigators when they actually go and try and locate these individuals and make their own observations and see if they can catch violations. But we do understand that people a lot of times they are concerned about possible retaliation. it's always a possibility. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, but it's it's not like the movies. It's kind of rare over here. So, but we do appreciate the public's tips and information that they can give. So.
Okay, next, thank you, Lieutenant. Next we have Arthur, and then I suppose after that we'll take Sam.
Yes, Lieutenant, I have a question. I attended a coffee at Queen Victoria. They have concerns that they've been coming forward with regarding traffic and the blocking of their driveways. Is there any way that we can possibly have some policemen during the peak hours when that blockage is happening so that they can issue citations? Signs are there. But
Yeah.
no one pays attention to them.
Okay.
And this is daily and the port.
So I'm just trying to just want to make sure I get the right place. Is talking about the condo, is that the one next to Chick-fil-A? Is that the one? Okay. On Beretania. And because of the line, there's
They block the driveway.
yeah, they block the driveway even though there's signs over there. I would suggest I can definitely pass it up our chain of command and see if we can get additional enforcement like a team to go out there and address it. But I would say on a day-to-day basis, if it's happening right then, somebody should just call to report it, and then an officer can be sent to address it right at that time.
They claim they have reported it. Actually, the cars are moved by the time anyone gets there. Is there any
Yeah.
way that for a short period of time, it could be monitored by the police so that they can,
Well, the other option would be to see if we can get, possibly the business, because it's being caused by the business over there. And then it also affects that, apartment building. If one of them might be able to, see if they can get a special duty officer over there to do traffic control or something like that, that is a possibility as well. We can check on that with our special duty section. But as far as it might be a little difficult just because of the times and the length of the violations, right? So if it's on and off, just depending on when the business is busy,
who should they contact?
it's probably better to just go with the calling for service when you see it happening. So on our website as well, there's a number for the special duty section. You can ask to see if you can hire an officer for those purposes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There was talk about Tipsy Pig 2, and they're on video. It showed motorcycles and cars doing donuts in front of it and shooting off skyrockets from a car.
Okay.
And it was on Tipsy 2's website. And then as soon as we posted it, they took it down. Do you know if the state fireworks people are looking into that?
That I'm not sure. As far as the fireworks violations,
Yeah.
I do know that as the department, we have gotten multiple complaints about that
Yeah.
business having various functions there, and it kind of spills out into the roadway. So when we do get information regarding these events, we do have additional personnel staffed and monitoring the location. I don't know exactly when that video was taken, so I don't know when that incident occurred.
Right.
I know the most recent one where they had I believe it was like a moped or motorcycle night. We did have additional staff, and they were staffed in that location and monitoring to make sure that there was no blockage of the street or any
Right,
traffic
right.
violation. So
Right.
they weren't there at that video, so that's why I'm not sure when exactly that video was
Yeah.
taken, like how long ago that was.
Yeah.
But I know the most recent event, we definitely had more staff on hand, and there was no major incidents like that. There was no blockage of the street.
Yeah.
The sidewalk remained clear, and we did issue some citations and
Right.
traffic enforcement. So because
Okay.
we got notice ahead of time that
Yeah.
event was taking place.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay, seeing as there are no more questions from board members, we'll take, we'll take one more. Huh? Yes. Okay. Is this for the police?
Yes, sir.
Okay, If you could go ahead, Robert.
I live at Ward Avenue. I live at Ward Avenue in Lunalilo. Over 30 years, I can't count the accidents that have occurred at the intersection of Lunalilo and Ward Avenue. I gave you a diagram last week. I gave to one of your officers this showing basically the traffic flow. She said that she would present it, investigate it. Is there any report you need to make back on her behalf regarding this?
So apologies, but this is the first time I've been
Oh,
notified
yeah,
about
that's
this.
what I
so sorry.
figured.
I do not have the
The
previous.
very next day after the last meeting, a major accident occurred there again. The woman was almost totaled. Now, we've got to have action. I want to give you this. You all have a copy of it. And I'm sorry about this, but I went down actually and talked to the officers, and here's what's happened. Cars coming up Ward Avenue, there's 2 lanes. The right lane usually goes straight up. The inside lane turns left on Lunalilo. Coming down Ward Avenue, there are basically 1 lane, but because there's no parking and there's no lines, drivers make 2 lanes. This driver was in the lane closest to the curb, and she pulled out when the car in her left started down Ward, and as she did, a car was turning left on Ward on the Lunalilo, and they collided. Her vehicle was tipped over. She was severely damaged, and enough is enough. We've got to have some control. And to me, it's simple. Put a, sorry about this, but I'm just really incensed about it. All we need to have is a left turn only for the traffic coming up Ward, turning left on Lunalilo. That stops all the downward flow. And you know, traffic comes down, and we live right off of Ward Avenue. Sometimes it takes us 5 to 10 minutes to get out of our driveway, and the cars come speeding down to get through the yellow light. Put a left turn light for the traffic coming up Ward to turn left on Lunalilo. You stop the downward flow on Ward Avenue, and I think that would eliminate almost all actions. That's my presentation, and I would like to be further informed about this. I don't want what I'm presenting tonight to end here. If there's any individual or city officials I can talk to about this, please let me know. I'm Robert Peters, and I want to get to the bottom of this. Enough is enough. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
a little
Thank
bugged
you,
out.
Peters.
So we definitely hear your concern, and there have been a number of high-profile crashes recently in that area. There's just a high number of traffic collisions recently in the news. The police department is charged with ensuring traffic safety and addressing traffic violations. As far as different signage or lights installed or roadway markings and stuff, that is not the police department's purview. That would fall under the Department of Transportation. And being that this intersection and these roads are kind of where they are next to the freeway, I would have to double check. I don't know if it's going to be all city or a combination of city and state roadways as well. But those 2 different Department of Transportations for the city and the state, they would be the ones that have to do the traffic studies and see if it's feasible to even change the lane markings or install a new light there. So those are the departments you would.
Well, be that as it may, what do I do or what does any citizen do to get the problem solved?
Mr.
The-
Peters,
they-
I'm going to cut
they-
you off
they-
right there.
Okay.
Forgive
that's
me.
it. Yeah.
This is definitely this is not for the police. They can't. All they can do is enforce.
Can they contact me?
Yes, they can contact you. Yes. Yeah. But yeah. And so we're going to have the city follow up. We have the city council folks up in just a moment, so we can ask them. And whether or not it's jurisdiction over city or state, we do have state officials coming up as well. So if we could, this is a packed agenda. If we could please keep the question somewhat relevant to the parties at hand, I would be very much appreciative.
Copies back to
Yes.
them.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, and I'll hand these back. I believe Chuck might have. Okay. 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 Are there any other questions from board members? Okay, seeing none, I saw a couple hands up go from the attendees. June, and again, we do have a bit of a time crunch, so if you could keep it brief, thank you very much.
Can you hear me? Okay. I have a question for you. Number one is when we called 911 emergency last week because of this Pacific Islander who's a Chucky, was very, very violent. He was actually following my daughter home from where the Safeway site. And then he was saying, things to her, explicit things. And then I ran downstairs and luckily she, got home safely. She said, Mom, that's the guy. So I took a photo of him. So I stood there and then he looked at me with his arms out like this. He was doing that. And so I wanted to hit him, honestly, I did. But he stepped forward. So I was like, no, I better step back. Then he went to my daughter and did the same thing. So my daughter, this one, and I called 911 emergency. Nobody came for 40 minutes. 40 minutes, nobody came. So I called back 911 and the lady said, well, the officers went by to, that address. I said, that's BS because we've been standing here the whole time waiting. Soon as that came, then, Colonel Fong came and then Jared Luke, and they arrived. So we want to know, why does it take 40 minutes? Because there was an officer by the graveyard in a white SUV. And Fong told me, well, he's doing a ticket. And he's like, we're going to come here whenever we can. That's his attitude. Very cocky. Was really bad. So, of course, we had to contact Sergeant Walker. And then he said, okay. And then I told him, well, Luke came. He goes, oh, thank goodness, so it was taken care of. But there's no communication with the day and night watch because when I talked to Sergeant Lee, he didn't really know what's going on. There's no communication. Even the night, the night watch too, they don't know nothing. And so Suarez called us, Willie Suarez called a few days ago, and he said he's going to blow up the picture and put it, on the one.
Sorry to interrupt, June. Could you please summarize your remarks?
Okay, yeah, anyways, so he's a danger to the community. I just want to let all the females know here that, he is, Micronesian Chucky and he's very volatile. Yeah, because he goes to Makiki market and does the same thing and he is homeless. So, yes. And then
Well, first of all, if that did occur and they did take an extended time to respond to the call, we do apologize for that. The officers do, as good a job as they can, but depending on the time of day, District 1 does get very busy and there are a lot of calls for service. And depending on the nature of the call and whatever is said to the call takers, they have to prioritize it. Some calls do need a more immediate response. So that could be, I'm not trying to make excuses or anything, but that I don't know all the details. That could be why there was an extended time before somebody actually showed up or drove by. But, I can assure you that, we will, look into it and make sure that our officers are, responding in a timely manner as much as possible. But just due to the sheer number of calls, it's not always immediate.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant. Did we have one more person from the audience? Okay, if you could come up and give us your name, please.
Hi, my name is Richard Ching. I live at 1099 Green Street, right next to 1427 Ernest. Wednesday night, there was a circus going on. The same actors were there. Nathan Fujioka, they know him. We know him. Narco knows him. He was there. I mean, he doesn't live there, but he got off the bus and he walked over. And then there was a whole bunch of other people there. Someone bikes, someone savory, mostly unsavory characters. We called the police a number of times. Nothing is going on. Nothing has been done. And I mean, we don't care if we call the cops. We don't care about retribution. They can come to my place, you know. I don't care. I call the cops all the time. My neighbor calls the cops too, but nothing's going on. Nothing's being done.
So if I could ask, what did you call to report, or what did you request for the police to do?
We've done this too many times, so I just let it go on Wednesday because it
Okay.
gets. They come down, they don't do nothing. They just drive away.
But that's what I'm asking. Like, you're saying they're not doing anything, but in order to do something, like, what are you asking them to do? Are you trying to get them to be trespassed from a private property, or just
Well,
see if there's violation because
they
they're
can't
making
really.
noise,
I don't know.
or-
They said they can't really do anything because they don't see any activity going on because it's outside. Inside, I don't know. They can't go inside because they don't have any warrants or anything.
Okay. Well, I'm still not quite sure exactly what you were calling about, but if it's to try and get these people because they don't live there, like you said, and if you don't want them returning, you can have them trespass from the property if it's private property, but somebody would have to be a representative of that property to issue the trespass.
Yeah, the representative Savio Realty,
Yeah.
they don't do nothing about it either.
Okay. Or is
'Cause
there
they-
like a resident manager or something?
There is
that-
no resident manager. They claim that they don't need one because it's only less than 40 units or something.
Okay. Or I mean, it could be just one of the tenants, but they would have to be willing to give a statement.
Yeah, and
like-
there's right now there's like people sleeping in the hallways
Mhm.
and dog crap all over the place. So, Savio's just letting Paul Lamp's property go to waste, pretty much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lieutenant, for the response. And I will go ahead and call this portion over. Thank you so much, Lieutenant. If anyone has any further concerns, our police folk are right here. Please be sure to talk to them outside the meeting and see what they can do.
Sorry, I know you guys are pressed for time. I just want to make a real quick statement just to emphasize, please, as much as you can, we're trying to emphasize traffic safety, especially because of all the crashes in the news. And like you were mentioning, there have been, a lot more fatalities this year compared to last year. So we just like to, remind the public again, please drive safely. Please drive with care and aloha. Slow down. If you need to get somewhere important, please try and make sure you leave early enough so that you don't have to speed and rush to get there. We are stepping up, warnings and enforcement efforts. We are trying to get more teams together to take a more proactive approach to traffic enforcement because of these rising numbers. So, we are starting up several different traffic enforcement projects. So hopefully, the goal is not to just issue everybody a ticket, though. We want everyone to get into compliance and drive safely on their own, without us having to, always do enforcement. If people can just change their mindset and their culture to just drive with more aloha, that would help everyone, overall to reduce the traffic accidents and fatalities. So thank you very much.
Thank you again, Lieutenant. Okay, I'm going to circle back really quick to Honolulu Fire Department. As you guys saw, they have an incident, so they had to just drop off the report and run off. I'll just read the report really quick. From information previously requested from June regarding the new HFD incident trend dashboard and fire response search tool on the HFD website. Hawaii Fire Department encourages the public to explore fire.honolulu.gov. To access the dashboard and search tool, click on the News and Info tab. And then we asked, has HFD heard cars racing late at night in this area? The Honolulu Fire Department is not aware of anything specific regarding regular car races in the area. And here's the incident statistics for July 2025. Fires, 0 structure, 0 wildland brush fires, 8 nuisance fires, 1 cooking fire, 11 activated alarms, but no fires. For emergencies, there were 116 medical, 2 motor vehicle collision with pedestrians, 6 motor vehicle crash collisions, 1 mountain rescue, 0 ocean rescues, and 0 hazardous material incidents. Of note, the nuisance fires include rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle. And their fire safety tip is Understanding how you'll be alerted during urgent emergencies and knowing where to find accurate official information is a key part of being prepared. Learn more at honolulu.gov/dem/stay-informed. Alert methods. There's opt-in alerts. These notify of individuals who have signed up to receive alerts via text, email, or app push notifications based on user preferences. Alerts are not sent based on location. 1. Systems include HNL Alert and official government social media. 2. Sign up at hnlalert.gov to receive notifications. 3. Alerts may be shared by official city, state, and trusted partner accounts. For public alert and warning systems, these systems deliver urgent life-saving information during immediate threats to public safety. In Hawaii, this includes 1. The emergency alert system, 2. Wireless emergency alerts, 3. Outdoor warning sirens depending on the emergency. 1 or more of these systems may be activated. And if you have any questions for Honolulu Fire, I suppose you'll have to take that up with them outside the meeting. Okay, moving on with the agenda, we have filling 5 vacant at-large seats. And I believe we have a number, we have a number of folks interested in filling our seats. Who would like to go first to give us, I guess, a brief who you are and what your name is? Adam. Oh, Mike.
All right. Hello, my name is Adam. I was on the board for a whopping 2 months. I wrote some little things about myself that way, get it all out, and I don't forget anything. I worked as a juvenile corrections officer and counselor in Chicago. I just moved here about 5 years ago from Chicago. I was a first responder and crisis counselor for FEMA and the Red Cross. Also worked as a homeless shelter and day shelter as a crisis counselor. Community resource and counselor for many nonprofits in many states all over the country, as well as lead resident teacher at a home for people with mixed spectrum autism. Currently working as a resident manager at Village Malohia and run a carpentry business called Full Steam Restorations. I have an MSW from Loyola University, Chicago. Adam.
Okay,
Adam
next,
Kirchman.
if we could have Kimberly come up, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kimberly Gallant. I've been a resident of Makiki for over 50 years. I'm excited about this opportunity to join the neighborhood board. I believe it's an opportunity to celebrate and foster positive community connections, partnerships, and programs while tackling tough issues that center around safety in our unhoused community in our area. It's very easy to identify problems and express concerns that are affecting our community. I want to work together with all of you to be part of the solution and to support what's working in our neighborhood, create a space and opportunity for new ideas, and connect with our neighbors. And I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I work as part of Hawaii Pacific Health. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then next up, we have Linda Dela Cruz online. Go ahead.
Aloha, my name is Linda Dela Cruz. I'm a 10-year resident here in Makiki, and I'm actually celebrating my 30th anniversary in Honolulu next year. Fun fact, my first apartment was on Wilder Avenue in Makiki, so this is a very special neighborhood for me. Well, first of all, let me say I did serve on a neighborhood board 20 years ago with Ron Lockwood when he was with the Makalimo Ili Ili neighborhood board. So I may have met a few of you long time ago. Hello. Professionally, I'm a multimedia storyteller, so I've worked in news and radio, television, and newspaper, and I have nearly 40 years of experience that were jam crammed into 30 years since I, like many Hawaii residents, do two jobs at once. So I'm looking forward to the possibility of caring for our keiki through our kupuna by helping on the neighborhood board. And I love promoting small niche businesses. I love our community, and I'm looking forward to learning more about it than I already know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Linda. Quick note about our microphones. If you are able, please get up and stand and use the standing microphone. It is very expensive when we lose microphones. Thank you so much. Curtis, what next? Oh, yes. Okay.
I nominate all three.
Thank you very much, Sam. Yeah. Okay. And let's roll call vote. Okay.
Okay, the candidates' names are Adam Kirchman, Kimberly Gallant, Kimberly Gallant, and Linda Dela Cruz. State the names of the candidates you would like to vote for, or you can abstain or any other vote. Okay. Salasa. Aye. For all three candidates? Okay. Char? All three candidates. Eberhart? All three candidates. Silva?
All three.
All three. Nakamoto? I think he stepped out. Steelquist? All three candidates. Mitchell? All three. Lee? Chan?
Three.
All three candidates. Kawano? Three. Peters? And Witham? Is Harris back? 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 votes in favor of all three candidates, and they are now ready to be sworn in.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a quick recess. Actually, yeah. Are you interested in being a? No, it's not too late. Okay. Would you like to give us tell us a quick bit about yourself and give us your name at the microphone, please?
Sorry, business is business. Keeps me late. Hello. Those who don't know me, my name is Nancy Depikotswane. Too bad Harris isn't here because I have to teach him how to say that. I have been coming to the board meetings for just over a year and trying to help out where I can. For me, the safety and well-being of this community is priority. We have a lot of things that we need to address, and I believe that we need to be a part of it and do the best we can to make a positive difference and do something productive. And I work in the film industry, and I take care of some properties aside from that, and I have family, so I'm just like all of you. We're just trying to do the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Do we have a nomination? Okay, Arthur. Okay, and for the roll call vote?
Okay. Nancy Depikotswane is a candidate to fill a vacant seat. All the seats are at large, by the way, per the neighborhood commission. Salasa, Nancy. Okay. Char, Nancy. Eberhard, Silva, Nakamoto, not back yet. Steelquist, Nancy. Mitchell, Lee, Chan.
I vote for Nancy.
For Nancy, okay. Kawano, Peters, Nancy, okay, and Witham. Nancy, 11 votes for Nancy. She can be sworn in now.
Okay, now we're taking that recess to swear all 4 of our new members in. Congratulations. So
It's like nonsense.
Yep.
So unfavorable, something will be able to.
yeah.
All right, Linda online, you'll also be sworn in. If you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will faithfully support
that I will faithfully support
Constitution and the laws
the Constitution and the laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws
the
of the
Constitution and
state of
laws
Hawaii,
of the state of Hawaii,
the charter and laws
the
of the
charter
city
and
and county of
laws
Honolulu,
of the city and county of Honolulu,
and the provisions of the neighborhood plan,
and the provisions of the neighborhood plan,
and will conscientiously and impartially
and will conscientiously and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
as a member of the neighborhood board to which I have been appointed.
as a member of the neighborhood board to which I have been appointed.
Congratulations.
Mahalo. Thank you so much.
We have one seat down there. One seat, if you could. No, yeah, I could see. Yes. Oh, we're gonna Oh, that's.
There he is.
That's oh, okay. I can do that.
Is everyone seated? Great, okay. All right, very good. Yeah, I sure am. Okay.
Okay, and I'll bring us back from recess. Starting and the city reports, starting with Board of Water Supply. Michelle Harmon? Okay, she will not be joining us, so go ahead and move forward with Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative, Megan Johnson.
Hi, good evening. Megan Johnson here to deliver the mayor's report for August. I'm going to drop into the chat a link to Mayor Blangiardi's August 2025 newsletter. And I know we're pressed for time, so I'm going to try to get through departmental issues follow-up as quickly as possible. So the first issue related to Palm Drive concerns, the area along Palm Drive between South King Street and Young Street. There were issues relating to overgrown trees so that no parking signs were being obstructed, and also about cars that were illegally parked on this roadway. So I did receive responses from a number of different agencies, the Department of Parks and Recreations, Department of Transportation Services, the Department of Design and Construction, and the Department of Planning and Permitting, and the Honolulu Police Department. I'm not going to read all of their responses because they essentially were generally repeating the same information, which is that this roadway is a private roadway. But I will report that the police department, they did make checks of the roadways, properties, and signs on Palm Drive. And the checks revealed that Palm Drive is a private roadway that is maintained by the city and county of Honolulu. And therefore, HPD can take enforcement action for violations on Palm Drive. So to please call 911 at the time violations are observed. HPD contacted the owner / manager of the property in which the tree branches, which were reported to have been obstructing the no parking sign, they were made, the owner and property manager were made aware of the issue and they have cleared the obstruction. And finally, the Department of Transportation Services Engineering Division was contacted regarding the obstruction of the sign by what appeared to be either a new Hawaiian Electric company or telephone pole. And the Department of Transportation Services has initiated a work order to affix what they refer to as a flex sign to the new pole and remove the existing no parking sign. The next matter relates to affordable housing bill 7 and various building projects. We were asked why the Pence Metro affordable housing is still unoccupied and also for a listing of bill 7 projects. In response, the Department of Housing and Land Management reported that the Pence Metro affordable housing project is privately developed and managed. And so the Department of Housing and Land Management recommends contacting Pence Metro directly for the most accurate and up-to-date information. With regard to Bill 7 and other affordable housing or building projects in Neighborhood Board Number 10 area, these projects are generally reviewed by the Department of Planning and Permitting or other responsible agencies. Therefore, any formal list of projects and their current status should be requested from the appropriate lead agency or the individual developers. The Department of Housing and Land Management remains committed to collaborating with partner agencies to advance affordable housing initiatives across Oahu, but do not serve as a central record keeper for all projects in a given area. The Department of Planning and Permitting did report that Pence Metro was issued building permit number 854879 and inspections for the site are ongoing. And I will be submitting to the board a listing that was provided by the Department of Planning and Permitting of a schedule of all of the Chapter 32 Bill 7 projects. The next matter is regarding the former Pi'ikoi Mini Park. A resident claimed that the park is, the property manager of the former Pi'ikoi Mini Park advised that land is designated as historic, so they cannot build fencing there. Homeless individuals and their belongings blocked the sidewalk access, so the resident who was on a wheelchair had to be pushed onto the streets. The response from the Department of Planning and Permitting is, according to their records, the Pi'ikoi Mini Park is not listed on either the Hawaii or National Register of Historic Places, and no historic property, aviation artifact, or burial site has previously been identified on site. The next matter relates to a homeless tent injuring a pedestrian. The issue was that a resident said that her daughter was injured by a homeless tent's wire that was sticking out of the sidewalk on Pi'ikoi Street under the freeway, and could HPD work with the state sheriff to clear encampments under the freeway along Lunalilo Street under the freeway. The Honolulu Police Department responded that they have conducted cleanups near the area. However, as noted, the location in question is state property and falls under the jurisdiction of the State Department of Transportation. The State Department of Transportation contracts with HTM contractors to perform cleanup operations on its behalf. The Honolulu Police Department has reached out to the Department of Law Enforcement and the Hawaii Department of Transportation to coordinate efforts, and a meeting is being scheduled to develop a long-term solution to address this ongoing issue. In the meantime, the Honolulu Police Department has submitted a request for another cleanup to be conducted within the next few weeks. The next matter relates to motor vehicle collision incidents and statistics. The question was, can Honolulu Police Department share motor vehicle collision incidents, statistics, and safety tips for every neighborhood board's monthly reports? The Honolulu Police Department responded that they can provide motor vehicle collision incidents and statistics. The incidents and statistics query can be as broad as the entire neighborhood board area or as specific as an address or intersection. And the question posed back to the board is, if there is a particular area of concern, please specify the location or locations in which the incidents and statistics should be provided. The next issue relates to Makiki District Park Building 42 radiation concerns. The question was, can the Department of Parks and Recreation request Hawaii State Department of Health to do a formal evaluation and investigation of possible radiation in this building, especially the basement and piping. And I did have a follow-up to the report that I provided in July. So the follow-up response from the Department of Parks and Recreation is, following concerns regarding potential radiation hazards associated with building number 42, the Department of Parks and Recreation reached out to the Hawaii State Department of Health for an update on their assessment. In response, an inspector from the Department of Health has confirmed that no on-site characterization or additional testing was conducted, as the area has been deemed safe based on a thorough review of existing data. Specifically, the Department of Health referenced a 1988 radiological evaluation conducted by the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, which assessed former Hawaiian Sugar Planters Association facilities located on park grounds. The report concluded, quote, surveys and decontamination of the HSPA, which stands for the Hawaii Sugar Planters Association facility, 12 years ago were conducted in accordance with NRC, which is U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, regulations and guidelines. Several small areas of soil are present where radiation levels are slightly above natural background and in no case exceed twice the natural background at 1 meter above the surface. The radiation levels pose no hazard to the public, even under the most extreme examples of exposure, such as ingesting the soil or continuously living in the park at the elevated sites. And this is again from 1988 U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission evaluation and the summary and recommendations. The Department of Health has also acknowledged the Department of Parks and Recreation's assurance that historic low-level radioactive material safely buried in compliance with federal standards has remained undisturbed. Based on this information, the Department of Health has determined that no further investigation or remedial action is necessary at this time. We hope this provides reassurance to the community that the Makiki District Park continues to be safe for public use. Should any further activity involve excavation near the identified vaults, the Department of Parks and Recreation will consult with appropriate regulatory agencies as a precautionary measure. The next measure relates to the Sheridan Park playground fire. A community member asked what will be done to replace the playground equipment that was set on fire, and what are the Department of Parks and Recreation's plans and timeline to rebuild the playground. The Department of Parks and Recreation responded, mahalo for your question regarding the timeline to rebuild the playground at Sheridan Community Park. The damaged playground has already been demolished, and the Department of Parks and Recreation is working with a multi-state contracting system to replace the equipment. This method is intended to help reduce costs and streamline procurement, as new playgrounds typically range from $200,000 to $300,000. We plan to begin design and build projects for several playgrounds, including Sheridan, starting this fall. However, the installation of a new playground and resilient surfacing at Sheridan will ultimately depend on available funding and where the project falls on our overall priority list. The Department of Parks and Recreation is currently managing many other playground needs across the island, and we must carefully balance community needs with limited resources. At this time, the Department of Parks and Recreation anticipates completion of the new playground in late fall or early spring, depending on budget availability, material lead times, and construction schedules. The Department of Parks and Recreation appreciates the community's patience and understanding as they work to restore this important play space for Keiki and families. The next matter relates to an inquiry about the Tipsy Pig 2 Bar and Grill, including reckless speeding, excessive noise, and observance by the Nice Neighborhoods Committee. Let's see. So the Honolulu Liquor Commission investigators investigate all complaints filed by members of the public against licensees. The provisions of the City and County of Honolulu's collective bargaining. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I need to put into context that Board Member Nakamoto claimed that the Liquor Commission does not investigate bars for liquor license compliance on city holidays and requested the Liquor Commission to investigate bars and city holidays. So I'm sorry. So the Honolulu Liquor Commission investigators investigate all complaints filed by members of the public against licensees. The provisions of the City and County of Honolulu's collective bargaining agreement with HGEA establishes holidays, dictates how employees observe those holidays, and how they are to be compensated for those holidays. Formally requiring investigators to work on holidays will, at a minimum, require consultation, but more likely need negotiation and an agreement with HGEA. Without an agreement, the Honolulu Liquor Commission is limited to its practice of asking for volunteers to work on holidays. And if no volunteers of adequate rank and number come forward, the agency is unable to schedule work. That ends my follow-up report. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay. Well, thank you very much for a very thorough report. Due to the time constraints, I'll ask that everyone direct their questions outside of the meeting. Thank you very much, Megan Johnson.
Thank you.
Richard.
Megan?
Wait, no.
No, I just wanted to ask her that.
Please. Hey, sorry, Richard. Thank you. Thank you, Megan. Okay. Next up, we have Councilmember Scott Nishimoto.
Aloha, Chair, Char, and the board. My boss just wanted to send his regards. We, based off of the last neighborhood board, we were requested information on a Bill 7 project coming up in our community. I did reach out to the developer, and unfortunately, they did not want to share a presentation that I could share with the board. But if we are able to get more information on that, I'll share it with Nathan or Chair Char as soon as possible. Wanted to give some updates on the bill that Councilmember Nishimoto introduced on behalf of the Makiki Tantalus Neighborhood Board. This bill currently went through first reading and in front of the council, and we did have some of our constituents come in and testify. So thank you, Chair, Harris, for bringing people, apprised of the situation there. I think my boss wanted me to share with you folks that it seems like they're having a good conversation, and it's like good that they're getting the ball rolling and at least bringing this issues to the forefront to start the conversation on, having a little more restraints on these Bill 7 projects. And my boss is happy to continue to support and, wants to thank the community advocates for coming out to testify for the bill.
Okay, are there any questions? Chuck.
Yeah, Taylor, thank you so much for you and Councilman Nishimoto's efforts in getting us the meetings and stuff with the various city staff. I just wanted to commend Councilman Nishimoto because this was a good example. It's a very I know the Bill 7 projects are very difficult. There's a lot of things involved with it, but he stepped up for our community and, he introduced this bill so fast and it had everything that we wanted in it. So this is a good example of a public official that compassionately listens to their constituents and really cares. So please pass that along to him.
Yeah, thank you, Chuck.
Okay, I'll recognize Robert, and then I'll get to you, Harris.
My
Robert.
question is, what agency would be most applicable to present the problem that I have with the Ward Avenue Lunalilo? Would the council members be able to address this?
Taylor, yeah, did you
Sorry.
receive or
May I have
Yeah.
the time to explain to her? Council, as you come up Ward Avenue over the bridge, there's Lunalilo. And at that
Yes.
intersection, traffic coming up Ward can either turn left onto Lunalilo or continue up the hill. In the same token, traffic coming down Ward Avenue, really, there's only one marked lane, but most of the time they use what used to be the parking lane, making it 2 lanes coming down. I've lived at that location in the Academy Tower for over 30 years, and I can't name the number of very near fatal accidents occurring at this intersection. I presented this problem last month, and the very next day, we probably had the worst accident of all, because the person coming down Ward Avenue pulled out from the inside lane, and boom, here comes a car up Ward Avenue, making the turn, and they collided almost head on. It was the worst that I've observed. I actually went down and asked the officers, "Is this what happened?" And they said yes. I presented to the police department and to the members here just a simple solution: put a left turn only light at the intersection of Lunalilo and Ward, allowing traffic coming up Ward turning left onto Lunalilo to have the clearance for so many seconds, stopping the traffic coming down Ward Avenue. And by the way, Ward Avenue is like a freeway now because they've taken away the carpool lane, and that's added to the problem. Why they ever did that, I don't know. So we're just kind of a twixt in between. Where do we go from here? Where do I go from here? Where do we go from here? Thank you very much.
Okay, sorry, just to be clear, coming down Lunalilo, you're requesting a left turn only light onto Ward Avenue, correct?
Oh, speaking to the mic.
Coming up Ward Avenue, over the
Upward.
bridge.
Okay, upward.
Over the bridge.
Left turn only
Turn
onto
left to
Lunalilo.
Lunalilo. That's how every accident has occurred there. And last month,
Okay,
what
I'll
occurred?
cut you off there, Robert. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah,
And-
I'll either submit a riser or it's like right on the edge of our districts. I'm not sure if that's Councilmember DeSantos Tam's district, but regardless, we'll work with them or we'll just submit the riser ourselves.
Okay, thank you very much, Taylor. And we're go ahead and move forward. If anyone has any other questions, please be sure to take it up with Taylor and Councilmember Nishimoto outside the meeting. Next up, we have Councilmember Tyler DeSantos Tam.
Hello, everyone. So I shared our newsletter in the chat. And quick report. So great news on Tantalus and Nu'uanu. There are 5 new speed bumps. This is in front of near Craigside senior residences. I know there's been issue with speeding for several years now. So that's been a win for us and the community. Bill 51, which is related to the downtown Honolulu BID that passed out of the zoning committee today. It's gonna head into second reading on September 3rd. There's going to be a little fire ant meeting. Rep Bellotti is going to be spearheading that on August 27th. That'll be 5:30 to 8 at Stevenson Middle School. And this Saturday, there's gonna be a Chinatown cleanup. The Chinese Chamber of Commerce is sponsoring that. Volunteers are meeting near Murphy's at 8:45 a.m. And I'm here for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Okay, thank you very much, Robin. I'm sure you heard Member Peters earlier talking about the ward and Lunalilo, and hopefully looking at a left-hand turn there.
Yes, I
left-hand
did. I jotted that down. Thank you so much for that note.
Okay, and one question from Harris.
Yeah, thank you very much, Robin. I wanted to ask, for this Bill 7 that we talked about and the Bill 53 that's going through. And again, it's a great example of our neighborhood board, but also listening to the residents of their concerns. So a lot of the written as well as the in-person testimony was really from the residents in the area, and wanted to just be sure that Councilmember Dos Santos Tam understands that for us, affordable housing is very important, but as some of the things that we have for Bill 53 also is critical in terms of, and hopefully he hears loud and clear the concerns by the residents who continue to attend our meetings and share. And lastly, I wanted to ask, for that meeting that's coming up that you talked about, the fire ants. There's that meeting that I think came from Senator Fukunaga and with Representative Bellotti, as well as Councilmember Dos Santos Tam. I had wanted to check, and what I was informed, which was great, is that Councilmember Dos Santos Tam is preparing some type of action in terms of the Punchbowl perimeter. Could you share a little bit about that, of the hazards of the fires, and maybe what is being planned in terms of his initiatives there?
You're talking about the little fire ants? Any little fire ant initiatives?
No, the Punchbowl perimeter. A lot of the safety issues that were brought up about the Punchbowl perimeter in terms of homeless encampments, the fire hazards, as well as illegal disposals.
So I think Lynn Robinson on Derrico has been working really hard on that with Senator Fukunaga. I think the last time we heard about that, it was with Mike Lambert. I think he did an encampment sweep on Diamond Head. And that was going to serve as kind of a pilot as what could happen in the Punchbowl area as far as a sweep that could happen there, as deploying social resources, as well as a potential sweep and seeing if any citations could be issued. I don't know a current update, so we can definitely circle back on that. That's the latest update. That's not current. So being very candid, that's not the most recent update, but I can definitely circle back for next month. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Harris.
Okay, in the interest of time, if anyone else has any other questions, sorry, John, if you could take them up with the Councilmember Tyler outside of the meeting. Thank you very much, Robin.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, we'll move on to community concerns from residents, limited to 2 minutes each. Residents, not board members, can share comments and concerns that are not listed on the agenda. Per the Sunshine Law, concerns not on the agenda may be presented, but the board cannot take action. Are there any community concerns? Seeing none. Oh, did somebody from online? Okay, Lavinia, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, Chair, Char, and board members, as well as newly elected board members. I just recently moved to Makiki since April. I just want to report two concerns. Earlier today, I was driving on Heolu Street at the intersection of Heolu and Makiki. I was heading towards Malka, and there was a car in front of me. She stopped, but then when she was about to turn left, a city truck was about to collide to the front of her vehicle. This was just earlier today. I'm not trying to report a city employee. I'm just asking to prevent, collisions and reduce blind spots. If we could have like a convex mirror or a traffic safety mirror somewhere. I don't know how often there are like near accidents in that area, but it's just a suggestion or something to kind of have a solution to this problem. Again, I don't know how often there are near accidents at the intersection of Heolu Street and Makiki Street. And then my second concern, if it's possible, just to Chair Char, if it's okay for the interest of community members and board members, if we could limit the reports of the elected officials to maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, just so that we have more concerns to address and questions from the board members as you all are our representatives. Mahalo.
Thank you. Your your comment is well taken. Okay, are there any other community concerns? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move forward with Governor Josh Green's representative, Russell Payne.
Aloha, thank you, Chair. Trying to adjust my camera here. Sure, I'm on. Aloha, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good evening. Let me start by going over some of the questions that came up in the last meeting, and some of these were already covered here. A question from Richard came up last meeting regarding the paving of the Ward Avenue overpass. He asked if that would include the intersections, and yes, it will include the paving under the area of the ward that's under the state's jurisdiction, which goes from south of the overpass, just shy of Kinau Street and Malka of Lunalilo Street. So it will include the intersection. There was another question from Chuck about repaving Lunalilo from Pi'ikoi to the on-ramp. And yes, that area near the post office, fronting the post office, will be repaved. I don't have a schedule for that yet, however. Hoping to get that schedule for you for the next meeting. There were multiple questions regarding the brush fire, and that just came up again here. Brush fire risk along Punchbowl caused by illegal encampments. I did discuss this with the governor's homeless coordinator, and he has been working with the various departments that are involved that own land in the area, including DHHL, DLNR, Department of Law Enforcement, to address the issue. And Robin just touched on some of that as well, on some of the sweeps that can take place. But as Robin said, we don't have a schedule for that as of yet. One of the issues has to do with jurisdiction and land ownership. A lot of that land is owned by the federal government, so we need to take that into consideration and work very closely with them as well. Let's see. I know it's going to come up regarding the issue at Ward and Lunalilo. regarding the traffic light. I will bring that up with our engineers to see if that is a feasible solution. The Department of Transportation, the State Department of Transportation would be in charge of installing that, while the city would be in charge of maintaining the light. So I'll bring that up with the Department of Transportation. And then also, I just wanted to give you an update. Last month, we did get some complaints in our department regarding some debris in the Makiki Stream area, kind of around the 1600 block of Makiki Street. There was some buildup of debris, like old furniture, what have you. The Department of Land and Natural Resources looked into that, and yes, they did find a lot of debris there. And so they were able to clear out that area. So if you do come across those kind of issues, please feel free to send them my way, and we'll dispatch the Department of Land and Natural Resources. And that's what I have.
All right.
Chair.
Thank you very much, Russell. If in the interest of time, if anyone has any concerns to report to Russell Ping, please take them up outside the meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Russell.
Aloha.
Okay, next up we have State Senator Carol Fukunaga.
Hi, Chair and board members. Senator was double booked tonight, so I'm here. And in the interest of time, our report newsletter is in the chat and in NCO's Google Docs. And if you have any questions, her email address is in her report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Linnell.
Yes.
Okay. Next up, we have State Representative Della Albalati. Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to State Rep Kim Koko Iwamoto. Nope. Okay, seeing none, moving on to State Representative Ikaika Olds. Okay. Next up, State Representative Andrew Garrett.
All right, good evening, Chair. Glad to be the only elected here participating tonight. But I know you folks are pressed for time. Just want to congratulate the new members who were elected tonight. Really appreciate you folks stepping up and serving the community. In past updates, I've said that it seemed pretty likely that we were going to have to come back in special session this year. But after Congress passed President Trump's bill, a lot of the spending cuts we were anticipating, they're not going to kick in until 2027. So that'll give us all of the regular 2026 session to make any budgetary adjustments. And, we are committed to protecting things like the SNAP program for food assistance, protecting Medicaid as well. Want to make sure that people have health coverage. So we'll have all of 2026 to make those adjustments. And we are in a pretty good fiscal position. We have about $1.5 billion in our rainy day fund. We always make sure we carry over, several hundred million from our year-to-year budget. So we're in pretty good fiscal shape. So with that, I'll just stop there and see if there are any questions, or of course, as you've been saying, they can contact me directly.
Thank you very much, Rep. Andrew Garrett. Yeah, in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and if anyone has any questions for the representative, please take them up outside the meeting. Thank you so much
See you folks
again.
next month. Take care.
Okay, moving on to board business and presentations. First up, we have the approval of written summary for written record, Thursday, July 17th, 2025. Does anybody have any corrections? Okay, we have a motion to approve and by Harris and seconded by Arthur. Are there any objections or abstentions from approving the record? Seeing none, we have our minutes. Next up, we have a presentation by Office of Hawaiian Affairs, updates on cultural protection and community investment with the 2026 legislative survey. Is OHA online? Well, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to the discussion on issues from Makiki District Park special meeting on Thursday, August 14th. So we did not have quorum, so I have resolutions before us. Do we have any motions to adopt the resolutions? If not, I will motion myself to adopt the draft resolution in strong support of allowing dogs in city and county of Honolulu parks and Makiki. Do we have a second? Okay, second by Harris. Discussion. Arthur.
In your write-up, you do nothing on Punahou Park.
Was already.
I believe I have mentioned Punahou Square Park it's on the back. That we would like to continue to move forward with making Punahou Square Park an off-leash dog park.
They apparently don't read very well. Punahou Square. Okay, according to the recommendation, that would be an on-leash park, and you have it off-leash.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?
The recommendation by the Thielen was that was going to be an on-leash park, not an off-leash park.
That Punahou Square was going to be an on-leash park.
Yes,
Okay.
that's per Thielen's initially.
I will have to look into that. I was under the impression that a lot of the emails they were saying it was an off-leash park. And that's why I had to.
I stand corrected. I'm sorry. I see it.
Yeah.
Stand corrected.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
That was
Adam.
That was the Punahou Park was a done deal already. So
correct.
That's why it wasn't listed in the.
Yeah, originally, and then we just wanted to include it in here for continuity's sake.
Clarify.
I have a question.
Yes, Linda.
Would you please explain a little bit about what the resolution says, since I just joined this evening? I know you talked about it briefly last time, but could you just kind of give the 101 gist of what it's about?
The most important part is that we would right now, as it stands, the Department of Parks and Rec has asked for the neighborhood board's input on opening up parks to animals. And so in the interest of trying to make statements before that deadline, that is why I have this resolution. And so we're asking that we open up, let's see here, let me look at my list of parks again. Open up Dole Community Park with the proviso that there be signage posted asking that those with dogs be respectful and maintain distance from the pre-kindergarten Head Start children. Makiki Street Mini Park, Makiki District Park, Ha'in Park, all be opened up to animals on leash. And then further down the line, we would like to continue that Archie Baker Park be allowed on leash dogs and continue moving forward with Punahou Square as an off leash dog park. And then make necessary improvements to accommodate both on leash and off leash dog use at Makiki District Park. And then we'll transmit these resolutions, assuming we pass it, to the mayor, City County Honolulu Park Department of Parks and Recreation Director Laura Thielen, and Deputy Director Edward Hayden, and then all members of Honolulu City Council, State Senator Carol Fukunaga, and State Representative Della Albalati.
Mahalo, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, Linda.
Last time we tried to get a dog park in Makiki Park. The Parks Department came out and said, no, liability, we can't do this. People, dogs bite people and all this kind of stuff. And the big issue was homeless having pets. And that was the big push. They said, we don't want to do that. Now, I thought it was a bunch of bull because, they're basically going back on what some attorney in the city council basically saying, oh, no, we, just stop them and then we don't have to worry about anything. I think we should pass this.
Okay. John, yep. Microphone.
Yeah, the problems we had with the Parks Department seem to have gone away in the recent discussion. So don't bring them back up again because they've gone.
Okay. In the interest of time, though, are there any? So we are all well aware of why we want why the arguments in favor. Is there anyone here to speak against the resolution? No. Okay. Seeing none, I believe we have to take roll call on this. No. Okay. Oh. Would anyone from the public like to speak on this first? Okay. If we could have your name and if you could come up to the microphone, please.
I think it's a wonderful idea that there's been money set aside for the Punahou Square area to be an off-leash park. But we want to make sure that that doesn't preclude our having an area in Makiki Park. Is it an either or situation? Because I guess the preference for most people is that there is a space in Makiki Park itself. So there's a park representative here who I understand has a different view and has expressed that view to me. So I'm just trying to clarify that does not preclude having space in Makiki Park for the dogs, to have a designated dog park.
Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Tom.
Thank you, Chair. Tom Heinrich, speaking in my individual capacity. Just two things I wish to emphasize because of past discussions at last week's special meeting and as well with you, Chair, after in working on the resolution is first, the resolution does not create an either or situation at all. The resolution speaks to being in strong support of welcoming dogs at all park spaces as appropriate. Okay, so that's one thing. The second is also making very brief mention of the fact that the Makiki, as my understanding, the Makiki present master plan for Makiki District Park was completed in 1999. So one of the things that also bears a lot more discussion is the future of this park, including dog park facilities, et cetera, as we should review and update the master plan for this park. So that's mentioned, but it is not an either or situation at all in this this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Okay. Is there any further comments? Seeing none, are there any objections to?
I have a comment. Sorry.
Yes.
This is
Okay.
Lori. This is Lori Wong speaking. I'm actually a city employee, but I'm speaking in my personal capacity. And I just wanted to say thank you very much to the board for hearing the community and our concerns. And we really appreciate that you folks have had a special meeting and last week, and that we're putting these resos on the agenda for vote. So thank you again for all your support.
Thank you very much, Lori. Okay. Are there any objections or abstentions from adopting this resolution? Seeing none, we have a resolution in strong support of allowing dogs in city and county of Honolulu parks and Makiki. And that will get transmitted to the City Department of Parks and Rec before their deadline. So they better honor it. Okay. In the interest of time, gonna move. Hopefully we get through this next one really quick. Draft resolution in strong support of the installation of additional lighting at Makiki District Park. Oh, yes. If you could come up to the microphone and speak, please, and give us your name.
Hi, I'm so sorry. In reference to the special meeting, I just wanted to bring up about the Makiki Community Garden fence situation. Just really quick, I'll get this in less than 60 seconds. We got the funding added to the city budget, which is awesome. That's what DPR told us to do 18 months ago. Now DPR is saying that the fence is not a priority and to try for fiscal year 27. We're just asking to introduce a resolution, not for this meeting, but for next meeting if possible. It's not like urgent. They got back to us 2 days ago, so that's why it's not at this meeting, to prioritize this project to be implemented. It's already funded to be implemented to build a fence around the Makiki Community Garden. The funding's there. It's a separate line item. It's a project separate from the park funds. Just wanted to throw that on there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the update. And yeah, well, we certainly will. The lighting does not include the garden. I guess, yeah, that we'll go ahead and explore that in the future, definitely. Okay, returning to the resolution in strong support of installation of additional lighting at Makiki District Park. We went over this during the special meeting. Are there any comments in favor? Arthur?
My understanding is before we have a resolution, we have to have a motion.
Yes.
I see
Forgive
no
me.
motions.
Yes, I motion to adopt the resolution in strong support of the installation of additional lighting at Makiki District Park. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Adam. Thank you for your point on parliamentary procedure. Okay, we're in discussion. In the interest of time, we'll limit it to 3 in favor, 3 against. Is there anyone willing to speak in favor? Seeing none, are there anyone who would like to speak against the resolution? Seeing none, I guess we'll go ahead and see if we can pass this by. Yes. No.
Since they didn't all attend last week's discussion, we probably ought to say the discussion as far as lighting included, making sure the light does not go into the apartments all around Makiki so nobody can sleep. Secondly, seabirds are worried by lights, so we have to be very careful. The focus of the lighting doesn't kill all the seabirds that are nesting around Roosevelt and things like that. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, John. Okay, are there any objections or abstentions from adopting this resolution? Oh, I'm sorry. Public testimony. Would anyone like to speak regarding this resolution? Seeing none, we have our resolution in strong support of the installation of additional lighting in Makiki District Park. Okay. All right. And tonight we have, I believe, a special guest with us for, since we had a number of questions regarding the park. So if you could come up and introduce yourself, please. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Aina Hikashi Izumi. I'm with Parks and Recreation. I'm the West Honolulu Recreation Supervisor. Is there things you want me to address in particular?
Okay, I will go ahead and start with board members. Chuck, you invite, or was it? Okay. Joan VA.
Could you repeat your title one more time?
West Honolulu Recreation Supervisor.
Okay. So I've had a few interactions with park staff here, and sometimes it's difficult to identify who works here. Is there any sort of like uniform that they wear, or?
So for our part-time staff, we do not have uniforms, unfortunately. We did make them name tags because there was an incident that happened earlier this week where some of the public said that they couldn't identify, but you know, in the past, we've never had issues with our part-time staff interacting with public to help enforce park rules and it be an issue. So now that, you know, it's brought to our attention that the public is concerned and they're not sure who's who, they all have name tags now. But I mean, they're not like our city ID where they have like, it's pretty much a printed city logo that says Department of Parks and Recreation. It says Makiki staff and their name on it.
Okay, thank you. That will definitely help, park goers know who's working here and who's visiting. So thank you.
Richard.
I think it's important to explain what staff can and cannot do. Like if there's something that requires police, so staff members are not enforcers. So there was a complaint about these bunch of kids running around, bumping into seniors, playing loud music, and just not being friendly to other park users. So yeah, tell me how the park staff would interact with something like that.
So, I mean, we try and enforce as much park rules as possible. I know there was an incident with the track, but we asked the neighbors if they could let us know because we have staff here every day. And most of the times they're here till about 8 o'clock. So recreation staff, they're here in the morning from 9 to 5:45. And then in the evenings, it's our part-time staff, but at the same time too, we're not going to have our staff approach anyone that seems dangerous and put them in harm's way because majority of our staff are young. They're in their early 20s. So, we tell them assess the situation. And if it's something that, they don't feel comfortable to call HPD, but, it's hard to because HPD is understaffed, and when they can, they come by, but sometimes it's not for a long time. So it's like, we'll call. And by the time they get here, the person has already left or, they sometimes don't even come at all. We're going to have better conversations with the track people if they come again. I have his contact information and I let him know next year if they're planning on doing the track and field that we want to sit down, have a conversation to kind of go over timeline and making sure that we put signage up that somebody's stationed at all the openings to inform the neighbors, if they're coming into the park, please be careful, or make sure that they're kind of being the traffic control where if they see the kids running, it's okay, hold on, wait till they run by and then, allow them to cross safely. But I think with that situation, unfortunately, it was a back and forth between both sides. And it wasn't only one side being verbal and, being, a little hostile towards each other. So it got into the point where it was beyond trying to repair anything. So it was just kind of both sides, going at it, which is unfortunate because we don't want that to happen. We want everyone to be able to share the park safely. And, I did get to talk to some of the neighbors and they voiced their concerns. So, going forward, we want to make sure that we have the conversation with the coaches and they have an understanding. And if it comes to this point again, where, they're being very hostile, that we can address the situation and address it as soon as possible instead of waiting to get out of control, like how it did.
So
Sam.
there's
Sorry.
quick follow-up.
Okay,
Yeah.
quick follow-up.
So there was a coach and there was a group of people running track around the park.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, because they don't use the whole park, there was whoever had the soccer permits in the middle, there was an agreement with the coaches that they could share the field. And so with us giving a permit for the whole park, that means that they can kind of commandeer the whole park. So what we didn't want to do is give the permit, or they didn't want to take the permit out because it was agreed upon with past directors, as long as they stayed on the exterior and didn't interfere with the middle and allowed public to use whatever areas in the middle of the field, that it was okay. So now that we're aware of it, because I've never overseen Makiki, and right now I'm only overseeing Makiki because I don't have a supervisor, and we only recently have gotten 2 new recreation staff that are full-time. So, with that in place, it'll help us be able to monitor more of what's going on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sam.
I
and then
went
I'll
and
recognize
talked
Chuck
to
after.
your staff and talked to the neighbors and talked to Civil Beat, who did an article on what was going on, and they printed it. And basically the problem, after talking to about, I would say maybe about 40 or 50 people, is their use of whistles to get people to move. And they were saying, have them stop that. It's irritating the dogs and they're irritating people that live in the neighborhood because they're just constant, this high pitch. And what I would say was just ban them the use of devices. If they're going to do that, just tell them to use a flag or something. but don't use noise devices.
So they're not the only group that uses whistle. So, but we will tell them to be mindful that, you know, it shouldn't be, you know, ongoing.
It's not like whistle once in a while. I mean, whistle every 3 seconds.
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna address that with them because we didn't get to address those things prior. So
Well, I talked to your staff about it, and I don't know if they passed it on to you guys, but I talked to them and I said, this has to stop before we go and we make a resolution on it just to keep them out of here.
So I think we have to be a little bit reasonable. This is a park. We want our kids to be in productive activities. And, you know, with that, we're going to work with the group and make sure that they're more mindful of what's happening and with the whistles, you know, because I mean, they're not the only activity that uses whistles. So, yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Chuck.
Okay, first of all, Ina, I want to thank you for being here. I know that you having a challenge getting another person to take charge of this park, and I know how hard that can be, so I appreciate you being here. The other thing I wanted to ask you is there any other park that these people could use?
So we don't have any track facilities within Parks and Recreation. You know, the only tracks that they have are within DOE, and, you know, if I'm not too sure if DOE will allow them, but that's something that the group would need to look into.
Well, I'm talking not only the track, because Harris arranged for them to go down to Farrington at the tail end of their season, which they did. But I'm talking about like another park, not necessarily a track. Does it have to be this park?
So from what I understand, this group said that they've been here for a good amount of years. So because I know they're telling me no, but when I talked to the coach and even one of our other directors that lived in Makiki, she said that she remembers them being here every summer for a while, and she's moved away for at least 7 years. So she said she remembers them coming around.
The church that they come from, it's in Kalihi.
So I mean, we're not trying to limit anyone to where they live. We're trying to share all of our parks because, you know, they're for the public.
Okay, thank you. Thank you again, Ina.
Okay, Robert.
Just a quickie. What
Sorry,
enforcement-
not Robert. Sorry. I had
Oh,
John. John was up
okay,
next,
John.
and then Robert.
Thank you.
How soon are you gonna get somebody to be in charge of Makiki Park?
How?
Yes, yeah. What are your chances of getting somebody?
So we're in the process of hiring, like the position is open
Okay.
and there's recruitment. So we're hoping for the best that somebody qualified will apply.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because there's always been a Makiki Park director that took care of things, so.
So we finally have a director here. They just don't have a supervisor. So
Okay.
we have a RD that's taking care of all of the functions of the park
Yeah,
and will be here consistently now.
okay, that's good, yeah, thanks.
Sorry about that, Robert.
Yeah, just a quickie. What enforcement of curfew will you employ? Take Thomas Square, for instance. They go well beyond the curfew limit. And I wake up in the morning, I get my binoculars and they sneak in during the night. So what will you be doing to prevent that?
So unfortunately, we depend on HPD to enforce park closure.
But they don't do it all the time.
So, you know, as neighbors, like we ask your help in calling and reporting when people are in the park past park closure. We don't have staff at that time that are scheduled. And that is one of our unmanned parks. So pretty much maintenance upkeeps the facilities.
And you might move that activity to Thomas Square.
If you could speak into the mic, Robert. Thank you.
Thomas Square has that huge lawn between the banyan trees and Veritania and King. It would be a wonderful place because the traffic noise will supplant any of the noise that they make.
Well, unfortunately, that will be on the decision of the group. We can suggest certain things, but it will in the long run, it's going to be what they decide on where they request.
Okay, are there any further questions from board? Oh, Eric.
Is Makiki Park irrigated? Because I've noticed the quality of the grass has, it's all dirt now.
I'm really
So
sorry.
it's being overuse. From the overuse, it's been torn up. So
It's not from overuse. Unfortunately, there was some damages to the irrigation system that needs to be fixed. So that has been,
should it not be used as much until that's fixed so that the grass doesn't just turn into a huge dirt field?
from what I understand with maintenance, that it is now going. So it should be getting back to its usual state of green.
Sorry, a follow-up question to that. How soon do you think the irrigation system will be fixed?
So from what I understand, it did get fixed. Oh. Yeah, so the sprinkler should be working now. So our grass should be getting back.
Thank you.
Sooner than later.
Okay. Seeing no further questions from board members, we'll go ahead and take them from attendees. If you could come up and give us your name.
Hi, Erin Smith. I live across the street from the Makiki District Park. I call the cops every day for 2 weeks straight about the noise. It's literally like 7 days a week for 3 hours every afternoon. And I can play the video for you if you would like to see it. It's not normal whistling. It's not the soccer team that's out there and occasionally like toddler soccer and they, blow a whistle to keep the goats together. But like I've never heard anything like it. And I personally approached the coach, respectfully requested that I was like, hey, I get it. You're communicating across a whole field. You can't shout. I got it. Can we scale it back? Nothing. Just carried right on doing. So there's when we say it's a two-way street, absolutely. And we tried to be respectful and we tried to request, and they are absolutely using the entire park. It's not just the perimeter. Like they were running sprints up and down the middle of the park. There was no part of that area that anybody else from the community could use other than the tiny little space that's over by the playground. They were using the entire park. And so if they are going to be allowed to continue to use the space, I would respectfully request that DPR please give them clear boundaries on what they are allowed to do, not allowed to do. And when they don't comply with that, if and when they don't comply with that, that there's recourse, because there was absolutely none of that this year. And they had this permit that said they were supposed to only be there like Monday through Friday. Nope, they just carried right on. They were doing Saturday, Sunday. And you just like, when I couldn't even sit in my house, I had to put headphones in because it was so loud, the whistling inside of my apartment across the street and 11 floors up. Like it was absurd. Police wouldn't do anything about it. When I tried to talk to the guy downstairs, he wouldn't even make eye contact with me. Like, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So that's why we're here, because it's like, it's untenable. And so if we're gonna consider their needs, I would also respectfully request that we consider the needs of the community as well, that use that park on a daily basis, not just for 3 months during the summer.
Okay, thank you very much. Would you like a chance to respond?
So as I kind of stated, so in the future, if they do come back, the plan is to have a meeting with all the coaches prior to the start of their practices, so we can set clear guidelines, like how you said. So minimizing the whistles, clear boundaries as far as timelines, like what from what time to what time they're going to be doing their sprints, and they're only going to use half the field, and we'll be very specific with that kind of stuff. So, and if they do, go against whatever guidelines we set and they're going off of, I wasn't aware that they were here on the weekends, like if you guys at least call the office and leave a message, and that way we can at least address it, because if nobody calls us and it's just going to HPD doesn't communicate some of those things with us because they are a separate entity. So it's important for you guys to call the park and leave messages so we can get your concerns as well. So that, I want to, the park number is 768-9290. Yeah.
Okay. John VA.
Thank you. So I did try to call the park probably 12 times and I left at least 2 separate voicemails and I never from anybody. So maybe with the new staff, that'll be able to be addressed a little bit better.
Yes.
But my question is, who is deciding on the permit issuing or signing off on a permit or considering the request here at Makiki Park?
It's our recreation staff. So, I mean, we have soccer that takes up the whole field during the day as well, during that same time that they ran track and field. So,
Okay. Chuck.
Yeah, I know. Is there any consequences or any penalties that you can assess to these people if they break the rules or agreement that you set in the beginning? Like, can you revoke their permit or can you fine them? Or
so
do something?
unfortunately, like we can revoke the permit, but the thing is if they go and complain and say that we weren't being fair, a lot of times, unfortunately, we are forced to allow the person to come back and use the facilities, unfortunately. So we don't have a lot of recourse on our side as far as, being able to like,
So
per se,
so these rules are in writing, right? I mean, the
Yes.
permit, okay. So what happens, how about if this happens? Okay, there's a lot of complaints that you heard, and I'm sure other people have. What about them getting a petition and saying, we cannot stand this whistle noise, blah, 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 and we have enough people that sign it and present it to you and your bosses. Would something be able to be done to them?
I sure hope so. Unfortunately, we've never had anything in the past where, like we've tried to revoke a permit and the community backs us up as far as not allowing them to continue to use the facilities. So, that would definitely help if, it does become an issue where they're not following the rules that are set in place according to their permit.
Okay, I'll do Sam and then John. Sam.
When they go and they come in to do their running, does all their people that they do have signed certificates of liability like they do for summer fun, where they need their names? So they have a count, like there's 20 runners and here are the names of the people and all this thing. Do you guys do that when you?
No, so the only contact information that we have is for the person that holds the permits that should be on site when they're using the facilities. So like it's the organization's responsibility to have registrations for all their kids and insurance. So that is on the organization to have those things.
Okay, John.
Okay. You're at the right place. We are the ones that can help you out do it, because a bunch of coaches, nothing. One neighbor complaining, nothing. But if we represent the community, which we do, that we can really say, you're not doing what we need for our park, and we will support you on that, very much so. So,
Thank you, appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, can I recommend you recommend this to the teachers, the coaches? You do us a favor in the community. You'll get rid of the homeless at Thomas Square, and you've got twice the area for them to have their soccer practice, sprints, and everything. And the grass is about 6 to 8 inches thick.
So unfortunately, I don't oversee Thomas Square, but there are certain parks that there's limitations to what they allow. I'm not too sure what Thomas Squares is, because I took care of Nuuanu, and because there is a hospice home that it's called a passive park, so we don't permit any kind of sports activities or practices there. So you find out. I can definitely find out for you.
Okay, if you could come up to the microphone and give us your name, please. And in the interest of time, I'll take a couple more comments and then we'll call that quits.
My name is Lisa Ching. I have a question. So do you ask the coaches for insurance information in case somebody gets hurt because the kids run into somebody, they're going full bar? Do we have proof that they have insurance in case somebody gets hurt? as part of the permitting.
Can I also add something on that question? How old are these children?
They're all at high school age.
High school age?
Yeah.
And my other follow-up to that is it would be interesting to know how many students there are if they're using the entire field like this, and then how many staff are, because I know that there are rules to how many students to staff ratio there are as a supervision.
I'm not too sure as far as that.
I mean, I would think that would be part of the permit, that they would be enough.
We just ask them how many people are they planning to have? So for the information that we get is the name of the organization, the contact person, the address, their phone number, and how many people and what they're using the facilities for.
Thank you.
So as far as insurance, it's something that in their permit it states that for any damages that they are responsible for any damages caused.
Sorry, no side chatter. If we could have if you can approach the microphone, please.
I'm not just asking about insurance for damaging the park. I'm asking liability insurance in case they hurt someone because they are running full bore. They deliberately clip you. They aim for me. They've aimed for me a couple times. They've threatened other park goers with physical altercation. So what is the liability insurance or liability with those kinds of incidents?
So as far as insurance purposes, like it's usually when they have large events, we make sure that they have liability insurance. So as far as what they have, I couldn't answer you on that one. I would have to get back to you.
Okay, we'll take a couple more questions here. So if you could give us your name, please.
Davis Gary, good evening. Thank you for being here. Mine's Den, definitely. These are all my neighbors as well. I have a dog across the street as well. I've tried to play devil's advocate for both. I'm all about community, using the park. I've gone to other parks. I'm very respectful when I go to someone else's community. I think we're in a different situations. There's definitely, I feel like, bias going on for the runners and not the dog owners who live here, been living here for a long time. The runners have never caused this much problem. As far as how many, we're pushing 80. I do banquets. I know what numbers are. It's a lot of kids. They range much younger than high school and much older than high school. This is a big community in the park, taking over the whole park. Now, as far as the middle being available, that's not the case. You get run over trying to get to the middle. So there have been back and forth, but again, I live here. I've been trying to be respectful. It is only one-sided, and I think the community is pretty fed up with it. Now, a couple of things. I'm more about solutions, right? If the intent is community-driven, if the intent is to give them somewhere to run, and I think it's dangerous anyway because you're going to get a busted ankle running on that ground. It's not a track. It's not meant for that. And the soccer players do it. There's 3-4 different teams playing, and we're all there with them. Never have a problem with them, right? Because we play around them. They play around us. We're all a community. Not when it comes to this group. They take over the whole park. How about this? When I went for my liquor license, there was a community board meeting. I had to get approved. Why don't they get approved? How about this? What about this? The permits. I've never seen a permit. How do we know they have a permit? Right? Who do we ask? I have asked, and they get run around. So sprinkler systems not working. Let's see, music playing loud, not part of soccer, not part of track, and definitely after hours. So we're not dealing with a good neighborhood park thing. We're trying to build a community. Dogs do that. Dogs are community, social, right? We want to interact with people. We want kids playing in there, right? That's not what's going on. This is completely different. And that's why you see everybody here. That's why I'm here. It's late. My daughter's waiting for me. She's hungry. It's really important. I've been here 3 years. I love this neighborhood.
Thank you very much. I'll give you a chance to respond.
So, I know a lot of the neighborhood's concerns are they're saying that we're now picking on them and that we're only addressing them. So all we're asking is to compromise for now, because right now, according to park rules, which is being worked on, that we're gonna allow dogs in the park. But all we ask is that they keep them on leash. And, you know, unfortunately, they've gotten very verbal with our staff. And there was a time, like just a week or so ago, where staff had approached and asked, can you please put your dog on a leash? And then the person started arguing with them, and then in turn turned to everyone that owned a dog there and told them, oh, just to release your dog. So everyone just released their dogs, and total disregard to staff's requests. And, you know, it was that. And then what happened on Tuesday, you know, the staff had come down and, you know, like it got very heated, and to the point where, you know, like, I mean, it started going back and forth and it got quite loud, which, you know, we don't want. And we're trying to compromise with neighborhood because, you know, I told them, I understand there's not a lot of park space for the dogs. So that's why we've tried to compromise to at least allow the dogs to be in the park as long as they're on leashed until we can get something approved, which we have Punahou Square that's going to officially be an off leash dog park. And then until we can get further, if something will be allowed at Makiki.
Thank you very much. And we have time for one more question. Oh, yes, we have a question from online. Lavinia?
Hi, Chair. Thank you. Sorry, not necessarily a question, but just a comment. Just going back to what the representative from DPR had stated with openings. I just wanted to say that the governor signed SB 1065 Act 279, which would allow people who don't have the necessary degrees to obtain higher positions in the state or city. This act would help shift to skills-based hiring. So I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lavinia. Okay, I believe I saw one person who had a question. Yes. Okay, give us your name and...
Hello, good evening. My name is Adam Strubeck. I'm representing the Makiki Community Garden Association. I just wanted to thank you so much for being here. I know it's not easy when lots of people are like complaining and speaking their minds. You know, there's been a lot of talk about uses of the park. To Tom's point earlier, the master plan for Makiki Park is over 20 years old, and they typically get updated every 20 years. We also have money allocated in this year's budget for both a garden fence as one line item and then also Makiki Park improvements. So I guess my question is, what projects in your district is DPR planning for this fiscal year? And can you give us any insight into how projects are prioritized or funded for this fiscal year? Thanks.
Go ahead, thank you.
Unfortunately, that's above what I take care of, and I don't unfortunately get to make the calls on what's the priority projects. It was brought to my attention about the fence and that for the community gardens. I'm not too sure. I tried to get a hold of our person in charge of community gardens to see where that possibly was at to get a little bit more information for you guys, but unfortunately she's out until the 28th, so I couldn't get any more info as far as the fence. She had mentioned it, but that was just kind of it. No more other information. So if I can get an update for you, I will definitely do that and then keep you in the loop with what we find out.
Oh, if you could, oh yeah, speak into the mic, please. But
So yeah,
yeah. Oh, if you could come up. Oh well.
As of right now, they said it's not a priority and to just get funding for next year after 18 years of advocacy. So I totally get it. Totally get where you're at. Can you just like try and send that up the line? Because we are going to hit this super hard community advocacy to get this a priority, because we got $250,000 for the fence. Shouldn't spend that much, but we really got to get this done because it's on the 1999 master plan.
so I actually did get your letter this morning. So we're working on looking into that.
Just wanted to add something super quickly too, just because there's been talk of dogs in the park. And a lot of materials that gardeners tend to use can be very toxic to dogs. So I think that kind of justifies a fence even more so if there's going to be kind of more dogs running around. So thank you.
Thank you very much for that comment.
So just one more thing. So I know as far as like, I did see the video about the dogs going after the cat in the gardens. We have been working with HPD to do more patrols and hopefully be able to remedy that situation because one of our staff did get bit recently as well. So we're working with HPD. So I want you to know that we are taking action on that.
Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time out to come here and present and listen to so many people's concerns. Thank you so much again. Okay, moving on to the discussion on solutions to traffic safety issues at the five-way intersection of Iolani Avenue, Prospect Street, and Alapai Street. We did pass a resolution 2 months ago saying that we would look at this. We did not pass, or we did not say what kind of solution we would like. Just a quick background, before when this came up before, we did strongly add, or we preferred a roundabout, kind of, more like a beanabout because of the awkward geography of the area and the weird boundaries of the intersection. But we did settle on stop signs because that was a lot cheaper and would go up a lot faster than waiting for funding, waiting for a ridiculously long installation time of a beanabout. So we do have a bit of history for a roundabout sort of a deal. And so I would like to say that perhaps as a solution to get the conversation started, perhaps we could go settle on a plastic beanabout. These have been used elsewhere on the island. Granted, elsewhere on the island, they're real roundabouts as opposed to awkwardly shaped beanabouts. We know that such roundabouts are very effective in slowing down traffic and making intersections safer. And so that is what I'm hoping we can settle on. Is there would anyone like to speak further? Oh, Tom.
Thank you, Chair. Tom Heinrich speaking in my individual capacity because I wear too many hats. First, right before this meeting, I went up to the five-way intersection, kind of hung around for a little bit, whatever, and stuff. So to place ourselves again, we are at the five-way intersection that the signage there is marked as 700 block of Iolani Avenue, 700 block of Prospect Street, and 1600 block of Alapai Street. One of the difficulties for the moment is graffiti on some of the signs or stickers so that in fact you cannot tell from each direction that in fact it is an all-way stop. Okay, so the first thing that necessary right now is cleaning off the signs that are there. Also, at least on Prospect going Eva and Iolani going upslope into that intersection, one of the things that was put in with the additional 2 stop signs there was the warning sign of stop ahead. Okay, no verbiage, but just that image. One of the things I think that's important in the voice of the neighborhood board to communicate to the mayor, to the council members, to the Department of Transportation Services is in fact to please continue to evaluate and in fact implement additional solutions for traffic and pedestrian safety. It is not the obligation of this board or any one of us individually to provide the solution. And I submit that is probably plural. There are other things that can be done in the very short term. Step number 1 was the cheapest. Put up 2 additional stop signs. That you have had continued complaints and my own witnessing even this afternoon. You don't get constant honoring of the stop signs. Okay. So bottom line is, let me just take you to 2 other places real quick. The first is in several locations in Kaka'ako, there is now pedestrian activated flashing light bars on the, I call them puka posts, along either side of the several locations of crosswalk. It's not a traffic signal. It's not a red light. It's not a flasher over the street like in a couple of locations such as Hau'oli and South King Street by Times Market, where you've got red or yellow flashing lights over that broad street. But there are several locations now where it's simply a light bar that probably measures no more than 18 inches across. It flashes for, I'm not sure how long. I'll give it, say, 45 seconds. But in that regard, it is an immediate visual attention getter for drivers. It is also a marked crosswalk. If we come back to that intersection, if I recall, there are no marked crosswalks at the 5-way. There are 2 marked crosswalks without signals that are just a little bit further Diamond Head on your way to, I think one is at Emerson and the other one right at the top of Ward. The other thing is, think of certain old areas like Kamiki, where there are certain intersections, particularly on Pahoa Avenue, where you have an all-stop intersection where you just have over the center of the intersection, because it's a narrow old 2-lane main street, where you have a flashing red light. It's an all-way stop, but you have a red light over that intersection. Certain other intersections along that same drag in Kamiki have a yellow light. If you're approaching the intersection, caution. And of course, you have stop signs on the non-primary street. So just as an example, there are things that are in great use. What the chair mentioned in terms of being able to put up, I'll just call it temporary materials in order to evaluate, et cetera. That's the way it was also first done on Prospect at the main entrance to Stevenson Middle School. So there are a number of other things that can be done. What I would urge is for the next meeting, in fact, that we continue the conversation, but also have a draft resolution that kind of states some of this, but let's step it up because the always stop in and of itself is insufficient. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Is there any further discussion? Adam?
Yeah, do you think we could do like we did with the dogs, maybe have like a special session where we can kind of discuss ideas like this?
I am strongly considering it, especially since we have Robert who wants to talk about the intersection at Ward and Lulalilo. We already have existing traffic issues around QVR and Chick-fil-A. So if we have a traffic focused or traffic safety focused special meeting, I believe we can get a lot done since we're just running out of time constantly.
Yeah, and maybe
So-
also with the situation with the park and the runners, maybe we could discuss that a little bit as well.
Okay, I will. I know we didn't have quorum at the last special session, but with the addition of now the new folks, perhaps we will have quorum moving forward. So yes, at the very least for now, I would like to have a special session on traffic safety issues. And then depending on how that turns out, we can have yet another park focused one. Okay, is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Robert.
Please put Thomas Square on the docket. Not, you laugh. It's a perfect spot. There are no condos. Nobody can be disturbed. Traffic. The homeless will be pushed off. And you could probably, in the upper section, you could probably put 3 soccer fields. And the lower set, it's perfect. And why we spent an hour talking about Makiki when, wow, this is a possibility. Thank you.
No, thank you for your comment. That's worth exploring.
Yeah.
Okay, and seeing no further discussion, we'll go ahead and move forward to board and community reports, reporting of board member attendance and matters presented, discussed at Queen Victoria Residence's Coffee Talk on Saturday, July 26, 2025, per Hawaii Revised Statutes 92-2.5, per minute interactions of members. So there were 3 of us, myself, Arthur and Ian Ross, who has since resigned. We discussed potentially introducing a resolution. What else did we discuss? We discussed on enforcement of the lack of enforcement by HPD on trying to make sure the egresses and ingresses to QVR are clear. And in fact, they have video of police cars blocking said ingress and egress. So, you know, that blatant disregard for signage probably does not help the situation. And just general, we did discuss potential solutions. One of which we discussed was perhaps we can ask HPD to conduct a focused enforcement. So we know that they're short-staffed. We understand that they're short-staffed. They cannot always have somebody at Chick-fil-A, but perhaps if we can ask them to focus some officers there, perhaps for maybe a week or a couple weeks, to kind of instill this, hey, you know, really instill this air of compliance, if you will. They also discussed going directly to the mayor, since the mayor is our mayor. He has a substantial sway over what happens in the city, and this is absolutely in his purview. So I believe that's about it, but we do have Lindsay here from QVR. So would you like to add to anything? And then if you could give us your name, please.
Hi, Lindsay Chambers. Nothing else to add. That was a really good summary. Just wanted to thank the board for their engagement and for being there on a Saturday morning. We really appreciate it.
Arthur.
I just want to add to your comments. One thing the committee for Queen Vic brought forward is the Department of Planning and told them that they can do nothing about Chick-fil-A not opening 2 lines for servicing as per the permit was issued by. And I'm very concerned that a comment like that, because I know in building, if I did not allow an inspector after I'm done building to come in and they can't see what I've done, they will make me tear out a wall so they can see. So to say they issued a permit based on disqualifications, I think is just shabai. And I'd like to see someone looking into the comments coming out of the building department in that respect.
Thank you for your comment, Arthur. Okay, and like I said earlier, I will try to have a special meeting on traffic issues for sure. There seems general agreement that we should have that. So, are there any further comments? We have a little bit of time. Okay, seeing none. Yes.
Hello, this is Nancy. So I did witness Baratania blocked off almost completely one day, middle of the day. McDonald's was blocked by cars backing up. Chick-fil-A was blocked off. And then the other lane, second to the right, was blocked by people trying to get in around the Chick-fil-A driver. So there was one lane and something happened, so that was blocked off. So this is an issue that we really need to figure out.
Thank you, Nancy. Okay, are there any further comments? Seeing none, next up is the Makiki Lower Punchbowl Neighborhood Security Watch. Chuck, nothing. Okay. Oahu Metropolitan Planning, nothing from John Sealquist. Okay. On to board announcements. Next regular meeting, the Makiki Lower Punchbowl Tantalus Neighborhood Board number 10 is scheduled to meet on Thursday, September 18, 2025 at 6 p.m. at Makiki District Park, the old Makiki Community Library, second floor, and online via WebEx. The meetings can be viewed on Olelo Focus 49 on the first Friday at 9 p.m. and third Sunday at 3 p.m. https://olelo.org/tune-in. Follow us at www.facebook.com/MakikiNB and visit www.8.honolulu.gov/NCO/NB10 for Makiki Neighborhood Board info. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Okay, a motion by Arthur, seconded by John. And we adjourn. Oh, yeah, oh, sorry.
Can we get some lights outside? So we
Oh,
can-
sorry, into the mic, but Arthur is asking if we can get any lights outside,
That when you leave the building at night.
that when you leave the building at night. Okay,
And unlock the door, please, next time.
yes. Okay, thank you very much. We are adjourned.